Hey everybody, YouTube. It's Memorial Day weekend here, and I want to do just film the first usage of my new pit barrel cooker and show you guys what this thing is all about. This is the Pit Barrel Junior, so it's the smaller version. I think it's a 14-inch grate that goes on there, and so it's not super huge, but it's definitely got a lot of functionality, and we're gonna test this baby out. So I got my charcoals all nice and positioned down there. I got them nice and soaked with charcoal lighter or charcoal fluid. These are applewood briquettes that I figured I'd give a shot and see if it imparts any cool flavor. So I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to cook in a second, but we're going to get this thing lit and get it up to temp. All right, the charcoal is lit and it is nicely spreading. I just threw a match in there. Guys, when you light things with charcoal fluid or with starter fluid, do not light it when it's super wet because you're gonna get a big old poof and you can hurt yourself. Wait till it dries a little bit, throw a match in there, let it slowly ignite and build. Do it the safe way. So I'm gonna check back in probably 15-20 minutes, and once the coals are sitting there nice and cherry red, we will get our meat on there. So this is what I'm working with here. These are called Meatballs. It's basically meatballs wrapped in bacon, so moo and oink. There's a place up here called Bear's Barbecue that made these things kind of locally famous, and they're really good, so I figured I'd give that a shot. And then I have a boneless pork shoulder. It's probably about 2.5 to 3 pounds. It's not a big guy. I use the Pit Barrel all-purpose pit rub on that guy. And then we got a big old rack of pork ribs here that are seasoned up with just some McCormick barbecue seasoning. So we're gonna get these guys on the smoker, the pit cooker now, because these are gonna cook the fastest, and then I'm gonna slice these ribs up and throw those on. But let's get these on the grill now. All right, got everything on there. So this also kind of gives you an idea of how much can fit on the Pit Barrel Junior. So again, this is not a big unit, this is the smaller one. And so I have the 2.5 to 3 pound pork shoulder, and then this is just over 2 pounds of ground beef and of course some bacon. So it's not huge, but I think this is a really good start. And if you know anything about grilling at all, you don't want to screw with things, so I'm gonna pop the lid on. I'm gonna kick the heat down so it slows down a little bit, and we'll check back in, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes. Okay, so it's been about a half an hour, and I took the lid off. I flipped a couple of these, and we're getting a little bit of color. Obviously the big pork shoulder, which is almost 4 pounds. I just read the package. That really hasn't shown any signs of cooking yet, but it's still early and it's a big piece. So, yeah, I'm thinking that maybe another half an hour or so, and then these Meatballs might be good to go. So we'll flip them over, throw the lid back on, check back in another half. All right, so after an hour, they're looking really, really good. You got a nice color on the bacon wrapped ones. I did try one of the non-bacon wrapped meatballs, and it's fantastic. Of course, the pork butt, nothing changed there. But I'm gonna give this a little more time because I want the bacon to cook through a little bit more. But this is after 1 hour. But woof, is it really working well? I think plugging these holes up right here helps the smoke come through when you put the lid on. So if you want less smoke, you could take them out. So yeah. All right, there's the rest of the bacon wrapped meatballs. I think they came out really good. And I just threw the ribs on top. Ooh, tough to see here. A little bit smoky, but I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there's the rest of them. So we're just gonna let this thing cook the next probably 5 hours or so, and then we'll see what they look like. Okay, so the pork butt has been on this cooker for about 4.5 hours. The ribs have been on there for about 3 hours. The ribs are getting to the point where they're pull apart tender, but not quite yet. And the pork shoulder I still think has maybe another hour to go until I can really start to shred it apart. So just a quick update. All right, so it's been about 5.5 hours for the pork shoulder and about 4 hours for the ribs. I think everything came out great. Wish I had filmed it coming off of the grill, but hey, that's okay. The ribs are nice and tender. The pork is not as tender as I wanted. It still slices nicely, and as you can see, it is pretty tender. These slices are coming apart, but the pit barrel unfortunately ran out of heat. I went out and checked on it. It just wasn't very hot. The coals had went down to ash. So what I probably should have done is checked on it after a few hours, added some coals, let them, gain some heat, and then keep going. But you live and you learn. But I think overall it's a really cool little thing. If I were to do it again, I would just pay closer attention to the heat, put more coals on, and everything to make sure that it's cooked properly. But the smoke flavor is incredible. The seasonings were great. and I really, really am happy with it. So hope you guys liked the video. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I'll be coming out with a lot more springtime related things as it is springtime and everyone's doing outdoorsy stuff. So thank you guys for watching and stay safe.